Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza is brought to you by Sport Relay. Honest, unbiased, and apolitical. Sport Relay, your connection to the diamond. And by A Complete History of the Major League Baseball Playoffs, Volumes 1 and 2, by Evan Thompson. Relive the glory. A Complete History of the Major League Baseball Playoffs.
This week on Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza, Meltdown Anatomy, League Championship Series Edition. Deadbolt Delivered, League Championship Series Edition. And friend of the show, Bob Nightengale from USA Today, returns to discuss the League Championship Series and World Series. Don't go away! Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza begins now. Welcome to Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza. I'm your host, Evan Thompson, Editor-in-Chief, National Writer, and Athletics Writer at Sport Relay. I also wrote these two books, A Complete History of the Major League Baseball Playoffs, Volume 1, The Pre-Divisional Tiebreakers through 1976, and Volume 2, 1977 through 1984. Volume 2 also includes the 1978 AL East tiebreaker game between the Yankees and Red Sox, also known as the Bucky Dent game, and the 1980 NL West tiebreaker game between the Astros and Dodgers, also known as the Joe Niekro game. If you are interested in ordering a copy, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, however many, and it's during the postseason right now, so this is a good time. Also, there's a certain holiday coming up where people traditionally give gifts. At any rate, if you are interested in ordering any number of copies, there are links in the description box below this video. It's World Series time, and we have a World Series matchup between the Dodgers and Blue Jays, the second largest market in the United States and the largest market in Canada. One team is aiming to become the first back-to-back World Series champion since the 98 through 2000 Yankees, the three-peat, and the first back-to-back World Series champion from the National League since the 1975 and 76 Reds, 49 years ago. That's before I was born. By the way, currently, there have only been 3 back-to-back World Series champions from the National League ever. The 1907 and 08 Cubs, the first back-to-back champions, in fact. The 1921 and 22 Giants, and the 1975 and 76 Reds. That's it! The World Series begins Friday in Toronto, and it should be a fun one. This comes after a pair of League Championship Series to remember. While the National League was a 4-game sweep, it had some unforgettable moments and feats, including the 8-6-2 double play that contained a force out at third and at home, and Ohtani's Game 4 for the ages. And the American League was a 7-game classic with legendary hitting performances, starting pitching performances on both ends of the spectrum, epic comebacks, and great relief performances as well as all-time meltdowns. Speaking of meltdowns, the ALCS between the Blue Jays and Mariners gave us not 1, but 2 unforgettable collapses. You know what that means? It's time for another installment of Meltdown Anatomy. Let's start in Seattle, where the Blue Jays were 6 outs away from heading back home with a 3-2 lead. Here is the situation. The Blue Jays lead 2-1. Setup man Brendan Little is facing the 2-3-4 hitters. Being the bottom of the 8th with a reliever protecting a 1-run lead, it is a goose egg scenario, and the Blue Jays' win expectancy is 72%. That edge vanished almost instantly because Cal Raleigh led off with a solo homer to tie the game. This chopped the Blue Jays' win expectancy down to 40%. Brendan Little walked Jorge Polanco and Josh Naylor back-to-back, and suddenly the Jays' win expectancy had fallen to 24%. Blue Jays manager John Schneider brought in Sir Anthony Dominguez, but the fire only spread. Dominguez plunked Randy Arozarena to load the bases, dropping the Jays to a 13% win expectancy before Eugenio Suarez delivered the dagger. A grand slam into the right field seats that brought the score to 6-2 Mariners, registered on the Richter scale, and left the Blue Jays with barely a 1% win expectancy. The rest of the inning was a formality. Crawford flied out. Canzone grounded to first. And Rivas bounced to second. 5 runs on 2 hits, no errors, no one left on. The Blue Jays' win expectancy had collapsed from 72% to 1% in a single half inning.
Damage report, Mr. Spock.
Both relievers wore broken eggs. Little for giving up the tying shot, Dominguez for hitting a batter and serving up the slam. This resulted in the dreaded double whammy, a double broken egg inning capped by Suarez's grand slam. It all but sealed the game for the Mariners and turned what could have been a 3-2 series lead for the Blue Jays into a 3-2 series lead for the Mariners. But that wasn't the only meltdown from this series. Our second one may not have been as big of a drop percentage-wise, talking about win expectancy here, but for overall impact, it was certainly more painful. For this was Game 7, winner-take-all for the American League pennant. And the imploding team was 9 outs away from their first pennant in franchise history before it all unraveled. On to Toronto. Here's the situation. The Mariners lead 3-1. Brian Wu, a starter pitching in relief, is facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Being the bottom of the 7th with a reliever, an acting one at least, protecting a 2-run lead, it is a goose egg scenario. And the Mariners' win expectancy is 78%. Addison Barger worked a leadoff walk to cut the Mariner win expectancy to 71%. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa singled to center, trimming it further to 61%. Andres Jimenez bunted both runners into scoring position, giving the Blue Jays a great opportunity to tie the game while bumping the Mariners' win expectancy slightly upward to 63%. Eduard Bizardo, the top-scoring American League setup man in our regular season individual reliever power rankings, replaced Brian Wu, and his first test was George Springer, a postseason legend. Springer turned the winner-take-all game with the shot heard round Canada, a 3-run homer to left that flipped the score to 4-3 Blue Jays and submarined the Mariners' win expectancy, ripping it down from 63% to 23%. Nathan Lucas followed with a single to right, nudging the Mariners' win expectancy down further to 21%, before Bizardo steadied with a lineout and a strikeout to end the frame. But the damage was done. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors, 1 left on. The Blue Jays had turned a 78% win expectancy for the Mariners into 26% in the span of 7 batters.
Damage report, Mr. Spock.
Brian Wu put 2 on in a goose egg scenario. Both scored, giving him a broken egg. Eduard Bizardo entered in a goose egg scenario and surrendered a 3-run homer, giving him a broken egg as well. This gave the Mariners a double whammy with broken eggs to Wu and Bizardo in the same half inning. The total win expectancy swing was 52 percentage points. 2 games, 2 meltdowns. In Game 5, the Mariners broke through with a grand slam dagger that left the Blue Jays facing 2 elimination games. In Game 7, it was the Blue Jays' turn. A walk, a single, and George Springer's 3-run blast, the shot heard round Canada, flipped the winner-take-all game and crushed the Mariners' hopes. Different shapes, same story. Win expectancy doesn't just shift, it evaporates. Now for the most dominant team relief performances of the League Championship Series. It's time for Deadbolt Delivered, where we honor the relief units that slammed the door and threw away the key. Here are the League Championship Series door slams. Real quick, for those who are new to this segment or have forgotten since the last episode. To get a door slam, a team must close out the game with at least 3 consecutive goose eggs. This string must be completely uninterrupted. There cannot be any broken eggs in there cannot be any mess in there, and there cannot be any situation where the score differential is such that the pitcher doesn't get any of the 3. It must be goose egg, goose egg, goose egg. Bang, 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 at least 3 in a row. Why is this important? If a team gets a door slam, they completely shut the opponent down en route to a narrow victory. When the last outs are on the line, it's lockdown only. The door slam celebrates those nights when the back end doesn't just protect the lead, it shuts the door, throws the deadbolt, and walks away with the key. In the 2 league championship series, there were 2 door slams. The first came in Game 1 on the American League side, with Gabe Spire, Matt Brash, and Andres Munoz finishing off the 3-1 Mariners victory over the Blue Jays. And the second came from the National League side, with Blake Trinan, Anthony Bonda, and Roki Sasaki of the Dodgers silencing the Brewers in their 3-1 Game 3 win. By the way, my apologies to Anthony and any of his relatives that share his last name for mispronouncing his last name this entire season. That brings the total number of playoff door slams to 6, 1 each for the Dodgers, Cubs, Brewers, Tigers, Mariners, and Yankees. Coming up next, an LCS postmortem and World Series preview with our guest, Bob Nightengale of USA Today. Don't go away. Welcome back to Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza. We have with us from USA Today, the one, the only Bob Nightengale. Bob, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Evan.
This is your 3rd appearance, so you're now officially a friend of the show.
All right.
You and Jose Romero are the only members of that club right now. So.
Cool.
And you did the NL series, correct?
Yeah. So I've done
Milwaukee and LA? Okay. And then
I've seen every Dodger game, and then I saw the Cubs Brewers Game 5.
Okay. And you're going to Toronto leaving tomorrow, correct?
Yeah. Get there for the workout on Thursday, and then Game 1 Friday and Saturday in Toronto, then back to LA Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay. And how long has it been since you've done a Blue Jays game in Toronto?
It's probably been about 6-7 years.
Okay.
I haven't seen a Blue Jays playoff game since the Joe Carter game.
Wow.
So I was there in the 92-93 World Series. I saw the Blue Jays in the playoffs in Minnesota, but I haven't seen a Blue Jays playoff game in Toronto. I was doing the other league at the time.
Okay. Well, that'll be fun, and it'll be good to see Shy again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the greats.
Great environment, a great, beautiful city.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, I must say I'm envious. I don't get to go this year, but I know you'll have fun. This championship series, you had the NL where we saw some great play from the Dodgers, Brewers. Well, what were your overall impressions of the LCS, both the NL and the AL?
Well, yeah, NL1 was almost in the Brewers World Series was being the Cubs. I think they had a letdown after that. That made their whole season. So they were just overmatched. I think the Brewers pitched well, very well, but just no offense. Dodgers pitched well, but not that well, but just completely shut down that offense. The American League was much better. I mean, it's only the 4th time in history we've seen a team lose the first 2 games and then come back at home and come back and win the series. I was at the last couple. I remember the Blue Jays when the Royals lost the first 2 at home. I remember, back with Atlanta and the Yankees, that series looked like it was over. So this one didn't look good either for the Blue Jays being down 2-0 then in Game 3. Then came storming back, and I think they're a better team. I picked them to begin the postseason to get to the World Series, and I think this will make a better World Series. The fact they're in it and not Seattle.
Okay. And of the 4 LCS teams, which team do you feel had the best relief unit performance-wise in the LCS?
I'd say probably Seattle. I know what happened, obviously, in Game 7, but I'd say Seattle overall. The Brewers had good starting pitching, and they used an opener, so it's kind of jaded a little bit, but theirs is solid. The Dodgers, after the hiccup in Game 1, stepped through. You never know what you're going to get from them from night to night, and Blue Jays is very solid as well.
Okay, and then of the 4, which one do you feel had the weakest relief unit?
I still think the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I know they made out well, and Roki Sasaki came in and did well, but still, it's like a tightrope all the time. They weren't sure who can trust from one reliever to the next. They had no idea what they're going to get from Sasaki before the postseason started. So that one is like you just don't know when they come in the game. Nobody's lights out there.
Okay. Which manager in the others in the LCS or LDS and then the wild card reviews, I asked which one was the luckiest. I don't really feel right asking that about the championship series, so I'll say which manager made the best adjustments.
I got to say Dave Roberts, the Dodgers. There was that game where he pulled Emmett Sheehan. He hit on a 1-2 count. I've never seen that. A guy getting yanked in the ahead of the count like that. So no, he did the quick hook. He knew when to put guys in, when to yank them out. I thought he did a masterful job, just like a year ago. Same thing this time.
Yeah, no, the Emmett Sheehan one ended up because he got pulled with the 1-2 count. Didn't Murphy send up a pinch hitter, and so the at-bat finished, and the pitcher got a strikeout of a guy that he didn't face, and the batter, I don't know what it was. Jason Stark wrote about it. It was kind of weird. The guy who went down as having the strikeout didn't finish the at-bat. The guy who went down as striking out didn't finish the at-bat.
Right. So the strikeout goes on the previous hitter. And, same thing with the pitcher. So the pitcher got the strikeout, though. So, yeah, it was I don't think I've ever seen it in a 1-2 count unless the pitcher was hurt.
Right.
It was good on Dave Roberts, not wasting time.
Yeah. And speaking of weird things, you saw the strangest double play in the history of the postseason. What do you remember about the 8-6-2 double play?
Well, it's just confusing because, Teoscar Hernandez, obviously he screwed the play up. Otherwise, it's not that bizarre. Right. But he fooled. He got fooled and tricked everybody else. Then you had Will Smith pointing and runner at first to go back, and Smith was confused. So Teoscar, to his credit, took full blame. Great attempt there. Great hustle by Frelick there in center. But yeah, I mean, if Teoscar Hernandez was just paying attention a little bit or listened to what Dino Ebel was saying, it wouldn't have been such a catastrophic thing for the Dodgers. They're very lucky it didn't cost them.
I can honestly say I never in my life thought I would see a force play at home that originated on a throw from the center fielder from the warning track.
Yeah, and it goes down as a ground out double play. It's like next month he told me after the game, he goes, "Is that the longest double play ever?" I said, "For ground out, for sure. If the ball never hit the ground, it's a ground out double play."
2 perfect throws by the Brewers too. You got to give credit.
Very good throws. Yeah, I mean, Brewers are outstanding defensively. They'll be back. Very good team. Play the game hard. Play the game right. I felt bad that they had such a poor showing in the LCS.
Yeah, they ran into a buzzsaw. So, as far as individual relievers go, which one did you feel was the most dependable of the 4 teams?
Probably Munoz from Seattle, which is a shame he didn't get in that game in Game 7. He should have been. But he was lights out. I mean, he had an outstanding year. Next year we're doing a Reliever of the Year award. And I'm sure he would have won it in the American League for what he did. So I got to say he's the most dependable guy. And I'd rank him against anyone on the Brewers or certainly the Dodgers. Toronto, there's some little mistrust there, or else Hoffman would have pitched in Game 6 there, or Game 5, I should say. So they weren't really counting him too much. But yeah, I got to go with Munoz.
Munoz, yeah. Hoffman, I think in Game 5 they were saving for the 9th because that's what Schneider had done all year. Was he used the guys he normally used in the 8th. It's just it blew up in his face, and then
just like it blew up in Dan Wilson's face. Same thing. He's never Munoz never pitched before the 8th inning, but right. that was a situation where those are the big boys coming up. Or even just intentionally watch Springer. Right. Springer's a dangerous guy. That's why some of these managers were intentionally walking Ohtani to get to Betts. Betts is the last guy I'd pitch to. I'd face Ohtani.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if we had the award this year and I were one of the voters, my vote in the American League would be Munoz. He was absolutely incredible the whole season. Watching him pitch. Which reliever did you feel was the most dominant?
No, I mean, I'd say Munoz. I don't. Did he give up a hit all October? I don't think he did.
I think he gave up one the whole month. Yeah.
So he was the guy I trusted the most, and Hoffman did fine, but just Munoz seemed like, okay, you're calling in a Mariano Rivera or a Trevor Hoffman sort of thing, where you say, okay, this guy's going to get the job done. For the Phillies, Duran did a nice job, but just didn't really factor anything. But he pitched well.
Yeah, Duran was a great pickup for them. And then last question here: what's your prediction for the World Series?
Yeah, I've been on a hot streak. I think I'm missed one all postseason, so I'm going to go the Dodgers. I think it'll be a better series is the fact it's the Blue Jays, not Seattle. I think Seattle would just been happy to get there. I'll go Dodgers in 6.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe it goes 7. But I think the Dodgers are just playing so well. The only team that could hurt them is not that they had a week-long layoff. They were so hot, they hate to take that, week off. That being said, Freddie Freeman didn't do much. Mookie Betts didn't do much. Ohtani didn't do anything until the, big Game 4, the historic Game 4. So we'll see. Blue Jays are running a high right now, and obviously Blue Jays they can't get swept again at home. They got to win at least one of these first 2.
Right. Yeah, and Freddie Freeman gets to play in a World Series game in Canada. That'll be great for him.
Yeah, he didn't want that. Those guys. I was talking to his dad. He goes, Freddie wants to play the Mariners. I said, why is that? He says, well, no long distance travel, and all the games start at 5:00, so you get to bed early and have some family time instead of 8:00 games back east. But I think in the back too is like, okay, the whole Canada thing, and he represents Team Canada in the WBC, and I'm sure he'll get a loud ovation for it. But I'm not sure he wanted those
right.
hard things to be tugged. I think it'd be emotional for Freddie.
Yeah, I remember 2 years ago, just the 2-hour difference between here and the Dallas area. That got weird on us covering the World Series. By the end, we were all zombies, I think.
Yeah, and the Dodgers, they've only made a couple of little trips in the last 3-4 weeks, and now they could have been sitting home, up until Sunday. Now they got to get on a 4-hour flight to Toronto. And, so the joke already, I was talking to Shohei Ohtani's agent. So now Ohtani's finally going to Toronto years later. He's on a flight to Toronto.
Well, with that, we will end it. Bob, thanks again for coming by. Friend of the show, Bob Nightengale, USA Today. Wonderful to have you. Great to see you. And have fun covering the World Series.
All right, my pleasure. Take care, Evan.
You too.
That concludes this installment of Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza from Sport Relay. Join us next time when we will review the World Series and give out our yearly awards. Oh, I almost forgot. My World Series prediction. Blue Jays in 6 games, with one of their wins being a 9th-inning comeback against the Dodgers reliever. I'm Evan Thompson. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. Click subscribe so you'll never miss an episode of this show or of our other show, Trade Trees. Tell your friends and baseball contacts. If you haven't done so yet, consider buying my books, A Complete History of the Major League Baseball Playoffs, Volume 1 and Volume 2. There are links in the description box below this video. And finally, bookmark and regularly visit sportrelay.com. Until next time, this is Evan Thompson saying so long for now.